Oh,
And we're live.
and
We keep doing this. Like it's gonna.
I
We
know.
gotta get
I was
used
going
to
to do
it.
a 3, 2, 1, but it just goes live. Anyways, hi.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Lunch of Life with me and my co-host Robin.
Me.
Take it away.
Well, this week we're going to continue our decluttering and detoxing. And I was going to recap last week because we started the process of decluttering and detoxing our mind. So just a couple of tips that my biggest takeaways were, for instance, like journaling, right? The brain dump, just the expressive journaling, not censoring, just sitting down and just writing, getting those thoughts on paper. Another good way to just declutter and take some time is just get up and move, put on music, just do something to move. But we did give 5 tips, so I would love to just suggest that people go watch last week's episode. And of course, please like and share and comment and subscribe, because this way we can bring you more episodes. But that was last week. So this week we wanted to move into detox and decluttering the body, the gut specifically, because our gut guru, Sharon Holand Gelfand, is sort of sitting next to me. So
Virtually.
take it away. Virtually, exactly. Life is virtual these days.
It is. It is. I can't wait till we can just like all be together again, and in public somehow, in some common space.
Somehow.
Yeah. So it's so interesting because you and I have both been on Bloom TV recently, which is a local Florida show, talking about certain hormones like melatonin and serotonin, the feel-good hormone. And for me, both of us, the discussion about mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And so this week talking about detoxing and cleansing, people get really confused about, are they the same? Are they different? What are they? What does it mean? And interestingly, 47% of Americans who are diagnosed with clinical depression, and 47% of those people have some sort of a dysbiosis, gut imbalance. There's inflammation in their body, whether it's from food and toxins. So talking about detoxing and cleansing is really important right now for this month.
And, interestingly enough, too, as we come into spring, and just to add this into the picture, which we didn't talk about, was because of springtime and depression and mental health issues, pollen count adds to inflammation as well, which
Absolutely
doesn't help. So
Yeah.
What do we do about that? Because I think there's a big myth of, a cleanse. I think those 2 words, cleanse and detox, are just thrown out there and used. And to me, like, I know people that I'm going to do a cleanse to detox my body. And so they go on these juice cleanses, which cannot be good, like to, drink juices for 7 days to theoretically cleanse your body and starve yourself of like whole nutrients.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it's a great point, a great question. And, definitely when it comes to cleansing and detoxing, people use it interchangeably. And really both words do mean, getting rid of toxins in the body, right? We accumulate them throughout our lifetime. So it's from the food we eat, the water we drink, the air we breathe, the products we use. We can't get away from toxins. So people think, all right, well, I need to detox. Okay, air quotes. We're supposed to do that. We need to detox the body. We need to get rid of it. But when you say detox, it's like, this is really lifestyle. Whereas looking at a cleanse, people look at that as a short term, as you mentioned, the 7 days, or 3 days of, let me just drink some juices. Let me, clear my body out, and oh my God, I'm going to feel great. And then life's going to go back to normal. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's so much detail I could go into, which I don't want to just overwhelm everybody, but our gut, that houses like trillions of bacteria, and our body is like a house, and our gut is our foundation, right? So from when we're kids, even taking antibiotics, over time, our gut develops this imbalance, and that's directly affected to how we feel and what we eat and the hormones we can produce. So when we think, oh yeah, I'm going to do a cleanse, let me not eat, let me just drink, some water with maple syrup and cayenne and whatever that master cleanse is, or let me drink juices 3 times a day. What people aren't realizing is that it's a short-term fix.
Mm-hmm.
And because our bodies have been accumulating these toxins for years, for decades, a short-term fix isn't going to last a long time. And then we go back into our cycle, right?
Right.
So, and when you're drinking all these drinks and juices, you may be getting some minerals, but you're not getting any fiber. People get very tired and lightheaded at the beginning. And then they think, oh, 4 days later, oh my God, I feel great. Let me go back to normal life. But you're also peeing out a lot of your minerals. And one of the side effects is even losing magnesium.
Well,
So
that can't be good.
it's not right. And people start cramping. And then they're like, oh, okay, no big deal. But that's actually a sign your body's sending you. It's like, I shouldn't be cramping. My legs shouldn't be cramping. My body shouldn't be cramping, because now you're losing magnesium, which is so important for stress management, for relaxing. So I honestly, and I used to be one to do these cleanses and right.
Me
You
too.
too.
Me too. Definitely. Definitely. So what's the best way? Like what would you suggest? Like I come to you and I say, Sharon, okay, I need to like detox. I also think of detox as like, I had a big party last weekend and I drank too much. Not that I'm a big drinker, but I drank too much wine. For me, that'd be like 2 glasses. I'm not going to drink for this week or something like that. So if I wanted to like clean my system out naturally, healthy, you know what I mean? What do you suggest I do? Because binging either way isn't going to be good, right?
Right. Well, the whole idea is to really look at your whole lifestyle. And so you saying like, what can I do naturally, is the way we all should be looking at this, because we should be regularly thinking about detoxing, thinking about how can I bring in healthy foods 80 to 85% of the time, 90% of the time, so I can still indulge.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that really, and I'll talk about like a gut test in a minute, but it's, it's like, I hate to say this, right? Dark green leafy vegetables, whole foods, colors of the rainbow, but it's specifically dark green leafy vegetables, because that is the green, this is the chlorophyll. It's the light and the life that they're getting from the sun, that is plant-based, that we want to eat, that's alive. So it's giving us that life, and that's helping to detox our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So, some of the vegetables besides, like kale and spinach, but dandelion greens are really important to have. And Brussels sprouts are, I'm sorry, not Brussels sprouts, broccoli sprouts are detoxifying. Any type of sprout, even broccolis and cruciferous vegetables, adding ginger, adding onions, adding all kinds of foods, and incorporating berries and colors of the rainbow, because they have their own nutrients that have antioxidants. And all of this helps to boost our gut so that our liver can detoxify properly. Make sense?
It does make sense. It does make sense. So I do want to ask you this, because I just heard this like two days ago, and I don't know why I didn't ask you before this, that especially now, if you're going to pick an organic, to choose what to buy organic, that they just added to the list, and I don't know why this wasn't added, or if it should be added or not, the dark leafy greens like kale, and especially it mentioned kale. Have you heard that?
Well,
do you agree with it?
Every year, the Environmental Workers Group, or Workman Group, EWG, they put out a list of the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. Are you familiar with that?
I am. So this was added in, I guess, I don't know if it took anything away or just added into the Dirty Dozen. Maybe it's Dirty 13 now. I have no idea, but kale is now on the list.
Yeah, and they added in because what they realize is that there are certain plants that need to be organic because they're more prone to bugs, right? So really a lot of the pesticides, they find that they need to spray them with the fungicides and pesticides. So that, of course, then we ingest. And so I always like to, for just in the terms of like common sense, tell people, if you're going to buy fruits and vegetables, if you're going to peel it, less concern about it. But if you're going to eat it, the skin, like an apple, most of us eat the apple, that needs to be organic. Berries, organic. The leafy vegetables, organic. Potatoes, I say organic because a lot of them are GMO. So, but then there are like bananas or cantaloupe or pineapple that don't necessarily, because you're peeling the skin, providing with some safety, and also because they're not as prone to all the bugs,
right?
Then they don't have the same strength of the pesticides that are getting sprayed. Because a lot of people do kind of start thinking like, well, where do I balance? And what are the important vegetables that I really need to, pay attention to?
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. But the other thing about detoxing is, and I'm glad that you brought up drinking, because a lot of people like to say, oh, I'll just have, pop an activated charcoal pill to absorb the alcohol. Again, and this is without judgment of, you do what you have to for a Band-Aid, absolutely. But it's when we start to do things over and over again as a Band-Aid and not realize that we have all these symptoms that we're not paying attention to. And that's where the cracks start to, happen. So if we're just on our roof putting these Band-Aids and fixing all these patches, not paying attention to the cracks down the wall or in the bottom, eventually everything's going to fall apart.
Yeah, your roof's going to cave in.
Yeah. And I honestly, at the end of the day, I believe hands down, everybody should know what's going on in their gut and do a GI map, to do a stool test to see, do I have H. pylori? Do I have parasites? Do I have giardia or fungus or yeast? Or like there's a plethora of things that we're so unaware of.
It's so interesting now. I don't mean to interrupt. It's so interesting because when you go for a physical, I had one recently, like none of that is discussed. None of that. I mean, you get your weight in, which I never like. Not that I don't go by weight necessarily, but I just don't like that part. But you're weighed in, but no one discusses like, how are you feeling? How is your stomach? What are you eating? Like they just don't discuss it unless you have high cholesterol, maybe they ask you then. But this should be part of your lifestyle, right? And
absolutely.
I think that's the biggest thing for us to get across is that whether it's your gut and your brain, like your body needs to be treated as a lifestyle, right? Your health is a lifestyle.
Yes. You have to look at all the parts. You have to look at, and next week we're going to talk about, some of the ways to bring in some of that calm. But you have to look at the whole lifestyle. How are you living? Your thoughts, because it's not just what you're eating. It's not just, cleaning out a room. It's everything. It's your relationships. And, going to the doctor, you could tell your doctor you're bloated, you have gas. These are the most common things that people come to me with. I'm gassy, I'm bloated. My doctor tells, and remember, like, I'm not a doctor. They are fantastic. They save lives.
Sure.
However, they're trained Western medicine, and many of them don't have a lot of nutrition training. And so the IBS, the gas, the bloating, it's like, yeah, that's normal. You're getting older. And it's not. And that's what I want to really impart on everybody is like, it's not normal. So your body's talking to you. You have to pay attention. And in order for you to do that, do one of these tests, see what's happening. And then you can put your whole roadmap together, your manual for what you need, because everybody's different.
Right. Well, I think that's what's incredible with what you do is that you actually do the testing. You offer that. And I think that's an incredible thing because I don't think many people even that are nutritionists do the testing. And I think that's the difference.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And people just like want to go for that quick fix, or sometimes they don't realize they have another option, that they don't always have to go with antibiotics for something, that there might be an alternative. So it's
Right.
being able to offer the information and have you decide what you need that's going to work for your lifestyle.
Right. Right. Which is great.
And there we are. We're at 15 minutes. Perfect.
I took off my glasses. I can't see. Oh, there we are. I can see again.
So if anybody has any questions, please feel free, write them in the comments below. I'm more than happy to answer. All of our links are on our YouTube channel if you want to reach out to us. And just remember that this is your life for everything, emotionally, physically, mentally. You're on your own journey.
Absolutely.
And the more you start paying attention, the more you'll see the signs of where you need to go and what path you need to take.
Well said. Well said. On that note, I will say thank you for joining us for lunch. And as always, I love unpacking lunch with you, Sharon.
And me as well. And thank you, everyone. And we will see you next week.
See you next week for another episode.